Hey listeners, I'm back with my video response to episode 250! Hey guys, and a fine episode it is, 250! 6 years of bliss. That is something impressive, and I guess in internet terms, that's like forever. Forever. So, that was really cool episode on modelers. I really wanted Pipes to be on that episode because I wanted to know what he thought about modelers. I don't know if he's ever used any or actually does use any. And he seems to really be into his satellite amplifier or that type of, I guess, analog valve amplifier. So it'd be interesting to know what he thinks about all of this modeling stuff. But anyway, in no particular order, let's just talk about this randomly. The Cyber Twin. The first time I saw a Fender Cyber Twin was years ago, and I stopped playing guitar for a long time, probably 5 years or so. And then I was with I can't remember who he was, some dude at a music store, and he was a really good guitar player. And he was talking about this Fender Twin. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? What is this thing? So we go up to this amp. He's like, check this out. And it's got that little screen on it. And he pushes a couple of buttons, and all of a sudden, all the knobs turn themselves. And I was like, jump back a second, like, what the hell's going on here? And I couldn't believe the tones coming out of this amplifier and how different and distinctive they all were. And I really wanted one then. That's the only Fender amp I've ever wanted. I just spat in my life. I'm not a fan of the sound of Fender amps at all, but that one I really wanted. I didn't have the money for it. Especially back then when they first came out, so maybe they didn't first come out the first time I saw them, but I thought it was a really cool amp. And speaking of MIDI, so MIDI stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface, and it's just a connector. A lot of computers won't have a MIDI connector on the back of them or a MIDI plug, but you will get like USB to MIDI or some type of interchanging interface to do that. And what it does, it just sends signals, like any other cable really, I guess. It just sends data patches. So, as far as my understanding is, I've got MIDI on my Focusrite unit here. I've also got MIDI on my sound card. It has a breakout cable with MIDI as well. The TC rack unit right there, I was saying that has MIDI on it as well, so you can send signals to it. You can connect it to your computer, do updates and all that sort of stuff as well, so it does have the ability to translate information in that regards rather than just send small messages. But to my understanding, what they use MIDI in, I guess, amplifiers and that sort of thing, is basically just to send messages to it, and you can use it as a controller. Like, you can use any type of foot controller with that thing, so it's a really cool thing to have. I guess it's kind of an older technology too, so I don't know, I mean, how long it will last. Maybe everything will go to USB for all we know. Or Firewire, please, Firewire. Anyway, so yeah, talking about Reason, and it was Reason, wasn't it? Yeah, Reason. This is a very casual video response. I haven't really thought about anything, but I wanted to do it before the episode comes out with the next Bliss album. So anyway, Reason. Yeah, the first time I heard about Reason, I thought it was like basically for DJs, or it was like a sampler. Again, MIDI controller. I didn't really know what it was for. I didn't think it was really for guitar players, but as you mentioned it, now that it records and that sort of thing, that's what it's for. I thought it was just basically something that would have playback samples and then you just trigger them from there, or you can set them up to play themselves, like MIDI sequencing and that sort of stuff. It does look like a pretty cool program. I'm just on the website now having a look at it, and it looks a little bit too complicated for me. I just want to hit record and go, but that was a cool review, PT, and I did like your example of it there, putting the music in the background for your friend's book about the demonic angels, I guess you can call them. So it made that sort of, I guess you would call it, your radio advertising sort of thing for it. It made it a lot more interesting, built suspense, and yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Sounded really good too. So if you're looking for a song for that book, look up Children of Bodom. Angels Don't Kill. It's a good song, one of my favourite Bodom songs. go perfect with that novel. Because they do kill. I've seen it happen. So, anyway, back on to the next thing. What have we got next? Okay, so let's talk about Pappy's review. Now, I'm very, very impressed with what you can do on a computer these days and how well these emulated amplifiers sound, and I think that's a really good investment to get all those Fender amps for for just over $200, was it? I think it's quite amazing, and for a while there, I was really against playing anything through my computer, thinking, oh, what's it going to sound like? It's going to sound like rubbish. It's not going to be anything like a real amplifier. And then talking to Yarn a few times, I tried a few of their plugins, like the free sort of amplifier plugins that come out, and it's just amazing. So Pappy, I really enjoyed your review there on the Fender amplifiers. It's really cool to know that you can get those. Like I said, I'm not really into Fender amps, but there is one amplifier I really wanted to get. I'm just yet to upgrade my setup because it's kind of cheap at the moment. But I really want the I don't know his name, Richard ZK. I guess it's based off a Mesa Boogie amplifier. I really want to get that onto my computer. I'm having a bit of problems with latency with my Focusrite unit. I don't know whether it's that or the computer or other settings, but yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Pretty cool. You can get all those amplifiers in one thing. So we have come a long way, and eventually I actually want to get right away from the analog world and go straight through my computer. If not through my computer, I want to get something like an 11 rack, or maybe even the Pod HD. HD Pro, I like rack mount sort of stuff, and go full on digital, because I believe now the technology is right up there that, you know, and especially with all the other accompaniment in there, you could use Reason for that, I guess. You're not going to know, you're not going to be able to tell whether that was a real instrument, I guess a real amplifier or not. And who cares, really? Honestly, I think we wrap ourselves so much in tone that we get so obsessed with how something sounds. Well, who cares if it's not exactly the same as a real thing? As long as it sounds good and it sounds good to you, you like the way it sounds in your recording, then that's all that really matters, isn't it? Another thing, like miking up amplifiers is a pain in the ass. If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't have the time to sit there with some isolation headphones and a microphone to move it out to that sweet spot, and then start cranking your EQ again, it can take days to find the perfect spot around that speaker cone. And then when you've got to go to a different sound, you don't want to move your microphone again. You don't want to move, you don't want to change your EQ settings again. It could take you another day to find that sound once you've got to go back to that. So I think that having these digital amps and all these modeling amplifiers on your computer is just a godsend. It's a fantastic opportunity for people. So when I get some more cash, that's what I plan on doing. I just really want to get some decent monitors first. So yeah, cool review, Paddy. Alright, so let's talk about the teardown. Now I've been reading on the forums that a lot of people have been having trouble with the app. I was also having trouble with the app on my old iPhone 3GS here, and thankfully it works now. Strangely, out of nowhere, it worked. For a while, I was just trying to open up the app and it just wouldn't open. Just wouldn't open at all. But now it works, and it seems to be a little different. So, let's talk about the teardown. If you guys out there, whoever's watching this, the whole three of you watching my videos, if you haven't heard the teardown, go out and buy an iPod Touch. That's right, go out and spend a whole bunch of money on something that you probably won't use that often because you already have something else that does that already. Then go and buy the app. Don't get it for Android because apparently it doesn't work at all. And listen to the teardown. It's a great investment. Just spend a couple of $100s to listen to 10 minutes of really random rambling on by your favourite hosts. But it is quite funny. In regards to that, if I was to lose one of my senses, geez, I wouldn't even know which one to lose. I definitely wouldn't want to be blind. I think those people, I feel very sorry for them. This guy that gets on the train and he's blind, I'm thinking to myself, how on earth do you know where to get on and off? Although once I gave up my seat for a guy on the train who I thought was blind, and then he pulled out an iPhone. He pulled out an iPhone and started playing with his iPhone. I was thinking to myself, are you really disabled? Honestly? And then when it was his stop, he got right up with his cane that he was just going anywhere. People were getting out of the way, but he went to grab onto a pole or a support pillar or whatever. Yeah, he was fine. Didn't go in between the gaps of the train and the platform. So I'm not letting that guy have my seat again. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know what senses I would prefer to lose, but Pappy, if you do lose the ability to speak, I'll more than gladly read your scripts for future episodes so that I can relay the message that you want to say but can't say because you don't have your voice. That's a very interesting topic to talk about on the Teardown, guys. So, and maybe the hosts will make them available somewhere online, maybe a month after or something like that, because I understand people's pain. When I couldn't open up that app, I was actually getting really pissed off, thinking, what's going on? And that's the one I bought it because I want to listen to the Teardown. So hopefully they can fix up the Android app, or there'll be another means to get that, because it's pretty funny stuff. It's pretty funny. All right, let's talk about the outro tracks. That was really cool hearing Hallelujah Picasso on there. That I had no idea it was quite like that. I did listen to a couple of songs. Gavin posted them on the forum for a link to. There was some website where you could listen to them all, which was pretty cool. I have to say that's some pretty wild music, and it's really well done too. I was quite impressed with that, but can't expect anything less from Gav. And then Triangle Exception, of course, guys. You guys really rock. I really enjoyed the track, and there's always a lot going on in your music, which is really cool. I don't know how you layer things so well, but it all works out and sounds pretty good in the end. So, yeah, cool. Good job, guys. Really enjoyed it. So, guys, I've noticed there's been a lot of things going on the forum, which is really good to see. And we've got a few new members, which is awesome. And I noticed there's a lot going on, a lot of strange guitars being posted, but I saw Jan's Explorer, Epiphone Explorer. I think that is one of the best looking guitars I've ever seen. I don't really go for too many funky sort of shaped guitars, but that one I like. And I don't even like Gibsons at all, but that one, I think that is cool. It's pure metal, it looks great, and it looks like it would play great as well. I was actually just looking for one a while ago to see if they were available in Australia, but I couldn't find anywhere that had any, which is a shame. But then again, these days, I don't know if I would ever purchase another brand name guitar after playing a Benford, and just for the, it's, how can I say this? You'll get more out of a custom guitar than you ever will out of any production model in regards to value, price, and playability. So knowing that for the price of an American Strat or a bit more or whatever, I don't really want to talk too much about price, but for a professional guitar, I'd rather get something that is tailored to me, rather than something that's tailored to the masses, where there'll be parts on it that I won't be happy with. However, I do like that Explorer. That is a fantastic looking guitar. I'm sure it plays really well. Interesting, I was looking at their Epiphone now have new bridges that snap into place. A little bit like the Tone Pro's locking, but I guess they just use like a snap system, or I think some of them even use magnets, which is really interesting. Now your Tune-o-matic and stop bar won't fall off when you change strings. So. But yeah, so it's cool. Welcome new people. Like I said, this is really unscripted. I'm just rambling on about anything. But what I am going to talk about now are the next two, I guess, topics for user-submitted segments. The year in review. I'm sure everybody has some type of guitar-related gear that they got this year. I know Jacko has got a plethora of fantastic new pieces of gear that he just got. So I do hope that a lot of people submit something. I do encourage everyone to submit something like that. I know not everyone is comfortable behind a microphone and aren't that great at talking and expressing or selling something, but a tip that I do is sometimes, I don't really do it anymore, but I used to write down everything. I used to type it out, make sure everything was presented properly, and what that'll do is then you can just read off that, and that'll minimise the ums and ahs and the parts where you get lost and that sort of thing, and keep it to the point. Really, I don't know if you guys noticed, but when I did the review on the TC Electronics unit, that was completely off the cuff, one take, there you go, and you could tell it's a bit lost in some places, but that's cool, because that's what this podcast is. It's a casual talk about guitar, and I really encourage everyone, if you have the time. Everyone gets busy. For the last couple of months, I was just super busy, stressing out all the time. I guess on the good thing about it was all music related. So, however, yeah, I understand that people don't have a lot of time to do review segments and that sort of thing, but if you do get a chance, I would just like to get everyone, as many people on the Bliss, as many of the Bliss community people to submit something in 5 minutes. I think that would be great. I will be submitting something for this next episode. Whether the guys play it or not is up to them. I don't know if everyone's sick and tired of my Australian accent by now, but yeah, I think that's a really cool topic. It's so broad, and it can be anything. There was a lot of talk on the forum about the clip-on tuners, which I think would be a really cool segment to talk about. I've always wanted a clip-on tuner, and Gavin is he's putting them through the paces, and I'm just waiting for him to come back, because at the moment he's got the Peterson strobe tuner. So I'm waiting to hear about how things come back before I go and purchase one, because I think it's a really cool idea to have something just clipped onto your headset, leave it there, forget about it, it's always on, and you can just tune all the time. It's really, really cool thing to have. Now, I say that because a lot of the times I play acoustic guitar, and my acoustic guitar doesn't have an inbuilt tuner or anything like that, so it'd be cool just to have something like that there, and then I can venture out of this room and actually go into the living room or somewhere else in the house, rather than be stuck in my man cave. So... But my guitars are here, so where else would you rather be? See, I thought that was pretty cool. And then the next one, the January theme on building your own. Building your own. There are a bunch of people in the six-string Bliss community that are very, very talented, far beyond the talents that I have. And it's so impressive that they can build these things from nothing. It's really amazing. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. I don't actually have any kits that I've purchased from anywhere, and as most of you guys know, I build all my effects from scratch. It's just that's weird. It's just a better way for me to do it, to get the parts I want. But there are, like, Pappy on the forum, I noticed, had posted so many links to places where you can purchase do-it-yourself kits and that sort of stuff. And I think that's really, really cool. And yeah, I encourage everyone to build something at least once in their life. Yes, it'll be frustrating. Your first project may not even work, but when it does, the reward that you get from something that you made is just, there's nothing else like it. It's so awesome to have it. The only kit that I really have would be, it's a bit dusty, I haven't used it in a while, is this thing here. I did submit something to the Bliss a while ago, but I can do another review on it, or whatever. This is an OL Circuits Slow Century, which I put a label on the back there. Based off the Soldano, I think it's called Slow Soldano SLO 100 Super Lead Distortion, amp head, which middle players go nuts over. This is one of the best distortions I have ever used, honestly. And if any of you guys know about how distortion circuits works, but let me just nerd up for you. So this uses FETs, field effect transistors, and what it does is different. With a normal distortion pedal, they often use negative clipping or clipping to ground with diodes, that sort of thing. So without getting too technical, that's one way they do it. Push the signal down, clip it off, push it back through the amplifier stage or in or after. With this, it's a bit different. It works much like an amplifier or tube amp's preamp section would work for a high gain preamp section. With a preamp section, you basically have a whole bunch of your tubes, whether they're 12AX7s or AT7s, whatever they are, and so it would cascade the signal from one tube into the next. So it would drive that hard, then that hard signal will go into the next tube and so forth, and that's how you get that extreme sort of high gain, as far as I know. I don't know, I'm not an expert in tube amps, but that's what this thing does with these type of transistors in them. People call them FETs, or really JFETs really. So it will cascade one signal into the next, so it'll boost that distorted signal to the next, into the next, into the next, and it's got 4 stages, I believe, in this, and then an output leveler or buffer. So it's different to your regular distortion stomp box, and I think it sounds great. It sounds really, really cool. Sounds much better with my passive pickups rather than active, which is a bit of a shame because I prefer active pickups, but with a bit of the EQ, with the 3-band EQ on there, it's really versatile. But yeah, this is a kit. This is a kit. Obviously, it's just all bare components. It's all pre-drilled, but if you were to look at this on the website, you'll notice that my components are in slightly different places, and I just wanted it to look that way. But it was a cool kit, nice easy instructions to follow. I'm not going to say it's a 10 out of 10 because it's not, because they use really cheap components and that sort of thing, and some of the holes weren't drilled to the right size, and you run into those kind of problems. But with a little bit of know-how, confidence and drive, you can make yourself a decent pedal. It's tough, hard as nails. True bypass for all you weird people that love that stuff. And yeah, so that's the only kit per se that I have. So if the hosts would like me to make a review on that again, because I had made one in the past, but I'll make it shorter and more on how the kit was to put together, rather than focusing on the sounds and that sort of thing. Okay guys, so now I'm going to talk about something which some people may like, may dislike, but I read a book, Darren's Guitar Chronicles, and I'd like to read a chapter to everybody. Now, this has got some very explicit material in it, swearing, very graphic, sexual orientated material. So if you're underage, you don't want to hear that type of thing, then I would advise you to turn this video off now. Click off it, close YouTube, click off the forum page just so this video does not play, because this is a very intricate and serious part of the novel, which comes together with the rest of the story, but it is quite graphic, and it is something that maybe some people don't really want to hear or be involved with, which is understandable. However, what I'm trying to do here, if anybody is interested in reading this novel, this is just something to expect in it. It doesn't mention any of this type of material when you're reading the preview or information to the novel on the App Store. So that's just something to keep in mind, that to expect this type of, I guess you could call it, extra story within the original story of being a musician. So guys, like I said, if you don't want to hear this type of thing, I would advise you to turn this video off right now. So, although if you are interested in hearing a chapter of the book in a very explicit sexual contents, I should say, or contexts, keep watching. Okay, there's going to be a black screen or a fuzzy screen for 10 seconds, which will give you another opportunity to stop this video if you're not interested. However, if you are, continue watching. Okay guys, now for something different to finish off my randomly out of context crazy video response that is all over the place. Stop messaging me. I'm going to read you part of a chapter, or some of the chapter, from a book that I currently read. Just going to put my reading glasses on. And this book is called Darren's Guitar Stories. It's the very first novel I've ever really read in my life for myself. It scared the hell out of me. Here is a chapter, or some of the chapter. I can't read very well out loud, but for your entertainment, if anyone is thinking of picking up this book, be prepared for what I'm about to read you. Now, I have no problem with homosexuals or anything like that. Personally, with the book, I just couldn't handle how graphic or how detailed some of these scenes were. A few of my friends are gay, so it's all good. So don't take it the wrong way, people. I was just very, very surprised that this was in the book, because the introduction to the book on the App Store did not mention anything about this. It was supposed to be about a touring musician or someone that wanted to be, life on the road, that sort of thing. But it's not really about that. It's about coming out into the world. And good for Darren. I hope things work out for him. But here we go. This chapter is called You're All I've Got Tonight. Here we go. My butt was numb against the bench by the time a punk in blue combat boots took up the position across the street. I crossed to his side and walked up next to him. What was probably some elaborate ritual we were supposed to go through, like in a bar, but more complex. I didn't know how to ask for what I wanted, or how much to pay for it. Okay, let me just build the story for you. They just played a gig. They got paid $70 each. Darren's the guitar player, phenomenal musician. His friends, the other bandmates, have girlfriends and so forth. They've gone off with them. He gets dropped off at the other end of town. He's walking through. He's a little bit aroused and wants some action. Darren is a homosexual. So he's out for the night looking for a good time. And rightfully so. Played a good gig, got paid. Which we were. But I had $75 in cash. I figured that was good for something. You're just a kid, I said. He looked at me like I was just seeing him now. That didn't make any sense. He looked at me like he'd just seen me now. These glasses these are 3D glasses, they're really getting in the way. Alright. Like he hadn't watched me across the way. His eyes were blue, but I could see the blunt strawberry tinge in his hair. Bad bleach job. Yeah, so are you, he said back, tapping a cigarette against his leg. Don't light that! I leaned against the smooth stone of the building. He looked annoyed. Tell me what you're worth. He folded one leg under him, like a flamenco, pressing his back into the wall. His answer was long in coming. Depends on what you want. So I told you I can't read out loud. I took hold of his collar, of his leather jacket. I want to take you into the park and fuck you until you can't stand up. He let out a little laugh, tight, nervous. His hand shook as he twiddled the unlit cigarette. I pressed my advantage. You new at this? Yeah, he admitted. And I felt relief flood through out of him. Trying to work my way through school, he added. I had to smile at that, whether it was true or not, but I kept my hand on his collar. All right then, $75, nothing fancy. He hesitated. And I'll let you smoke that cigarette, I said. He pulled out a condom from out of his pocket and raised an eyebrow. I let the collar go. Sure, then it's a deal then. He held out his hand. Give me the money. I jerked my head towards the public gardens. The voice that came out of my mouth hardly sounded anything like me. I'll give it to you when your pants are down and I know you won't run away. I took him deep into the gardens, where the 10-foot tall evergreen hedges stayed thick and full all year round. He turned his back on me and dropped his jeans to his ankles. I stuffed the wad of money into one of his jacket pockets. He seemed to relax a little, and inexplicably, I wanted to smack him's face. But I took the condom and a little tube of lube out of his hand. I bent him over and gave a little grunt as I entered him. I held tight on his hips and pulled him all the way into me. And then my arms were working like pistons pumping him as the sensation burned hotter in my groin. I fucked him so hard my balls began to... Doesn't make sense. I fucked him so hard my balls began to smart as they slapped against him. But the pain seemed like nothing. I needed to fuck this punk stranger like I was going to die if I didn't. It was over pretty quickly, but we were both panting. I tossed the condom into the bushes and wiped my fingers on my shirt. By the time I finished zipping up my jeans, he was gone. I sat on a rock in the park, shivering like a junkie, for a long time after that. I didn't feel angry, I didn't feel sick, I didn't feel anything. Like my body shut down in protest. I wanted to cut myself. I wanted to play until my fingers bled. I wanted to do anything but sit there and hate myself. I couldn't stop my brain from going off. I kept thinking about castration, flagellation, I can't even read that, being burnt alive, as if the saints had all the fun. Okay. Eventually I made myself feel sick again. I wanted to claw the skin off my body, but instead I walked home to the nice quiet apartment where that nice Darren boy lives. Keep to myself and doesn't bother anyone. I imagine tying my cock up with a rope, mummifying it in a tight cord, keeping it in check all the time. I threw down my coat. I was getting hard again. On page. I laid in my clothes, pushing my underwear down and pulling my erection out of my zipper like I'd done with a hustler boy. My fingers were still a little sticky from the lube. I licked them and stroked myself hard until my palm had almost gone dry and I was making myself sore. I kept on like that, rubbing and squeezing as hard as I could, feeling my skin burn with friction until pre-cum started leaking out of me. I came into my stomach, semen making the sorest spot sting. I fell asleep thinking, so this is what they call self-abuse. And there you have it. So if you're thinking about reading Darren's Guitar Chronicles, it is a fantabulous story. Just be prepared for that sort of thing. If you don't have the stomach for it, that's understandable, but that is the way the book goes. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that at all. So guys, if anyone's going to be any sort of negative about it, keep that to yourself. But I just wanted to share that with people before anyone else reads it and isn't expecting that sort of thing in the book. That's a whole chapter. There are a fair few sexual scenes that go on through the book. However, it is quite a good story. I really do want to read the other ones, but I don't know if I can stomach the rest of that, because at the end of the first book, there are 3 in the series, he gets signed to a major label, and I'd really like to know what happens with the story from on there. However, the guys on the forum have recommended some other books for me to read if I start reading again, which will probably happen because it's very boring on the train. So guys, anyway, I hope that didn't offend anybody. Don't take it the wrong way. Just trying to let you guys know what is in the book. It is for free. You can download it at the App Store, Amazon's, on the website, Darren's Guitar Chronicles. Guys, I'm out of here. Catch you next time.